but what was the difference in their play that made them be better? What more do you have to do?
It was better reads. I just thought they were smarter within our system, which was good. And something that Army had that we don't have is they were 5 feet wider in the rink, and they know how to use it. And some of our first year guys, I think that was a little bit. We were starting to. You could start to see it in the third period, like the conditioning aspect of it. But to really answer your question, just getting more familiarized with our systems.
Was it maybe nerves on Saturday, and then that way Sunday we did a lot calmer, and game slowed down, especially for the freshmen?
Yeah, I'd like to think so, but like I said, some of those guys improved, and some of those guys took, I'm not gonna say a step backwards, but they just were kind of not as noticeable, the first year guys in game 2. So I just think that just getting used to playing back-to-back. And some of them they never played back-to-back games in Division I college game before, and it kind of showed in that regard.
You only had 3 shots in the third period against Army, so that kind of was a carryover maybe a little bit from the AUV. You guys going to have to just get that number up, even if it's not necessarily great chances.
I felt the lack of shots at Army was a contributive force into the BU game and the Army game and taking penalties, because that just taxes your body. So that to me is just, I chalk it up to that. If we can play smarter, we're going to have fresher legs.
I asked you this on Sunday as well, but can you put your finger on where the penalties came from, like what the source was? Is there any kind of general theme behind that, or is it just trying to figure things out?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't help when you take penalties in the first 2 games, one in the first shift and one in the second. So we've already addressed that. But again, you got to go out in next game and execute that. And even in practice, if we see a penalty, we're always calling them, and that's on our coaching staff. And then we try to hold them accountable through that. But I think it starts there. The early penalties do not help. As far as a theme of the penalties, it seems like it's been many calls and different calls. Some that you shake your head at, but you kind of understand. But in the same token, I haven't seen any calls where you say, holy smokes, that's just a horrible call. So far so good. And as far as with the reffing, so I don't fault the refs at all.
When you do take a penalty that early in the game, how much does that set you? I mean, you come in with a game plan, you want to get certain things established right off the rip, and boom, you're a man down like before the puck is barely dropped. How much does that, just the timing of it, kill your whole game plan?
Well, it does a couple things. A, you're on the penalty kill. And then B, your bench, you can see the shoulders sag a little bit. And that's when the coach has to get the pom-poms out and pump the team back up, or the bicycle tire pump. And, and that's, so there's two things that actually happen. And, we have to kill those too. And because that could shift it, and now we're feeling it. Now we got some momentum going our way. But it's an awful tough task to put your penalty kill on the PK so fast or quickly in a game.
We're facing Northeastern this weekend. You went there last year, took 2 games, but what's going to be different about this game? What have you seen? Obviously, I don't think they played a game yet, but what do you like about Northeastern? What do you have to do to stop them?
Extremely dangerous power play. They have a couple excellent forwards. They've retained a couple defensemen that are excellent, and I've heard they brought in, a lot of very good, talented, offensive, skilled defensemen. So probably similar to what we saw against BU. So we've had a little test with that, and hopefully we kind of learn that if you go 150 miles an hour at one of their defensemen, they're going to make you look silly. So we just have to be a little more under control and see how it plays out.
Rick, after 2 games, Sean Harrison has 2 goals. Going into this year, was he a kid that you thought could start to replace some of the firepower you lost from last year?
Definitely. you know, and Sean has been put in a role now where he's seen a lot more ice than he ever has before. He's been put in a lot more situations than he's never seen before, and he's adapted well because he works hard. He's a very diligent, you know, guy in the classroom, and just how he prepares. And he gives you everything he has, and you know, I think you could see some of our first year guys kind of gravitating towards him, and that's exactly what we want.
A lot of your first year guys are still going to figure things out. The college hockey game through the first part of the season, you mentioned, you know, they weren't even used to back-to-back games. Now back-to-back games against the same team, what kind of wrinkle does that give to them?
Oh, great question. I at this time, we're still trying to figure that one out, of what they actually. It's going to be. It's a tough one because we don't know what to really expect, and we're just trying to figure this one out as we go along with that. It's honestly, this is all so new to us, you know, for our staff especially, and we're just trying to figure this thing out as we go along through practice to get to these games in order to figure out the other team, where before we had so much more, I would say, experience to figure it out, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Does it help going into a weekend where you only have to game plan against one team, as you're saying you have to figure out these things about your own team, that you're not having to do a back-to-back different game plan?
Yeah, it's nice, and because I always felt that when you're preparing for one team, the second night's more about adjustments, and I think that makes you a better coaching staff, because you're just making these subtle adjustments that you think help you for the second night, and it's similar to what you'll see in playoffs. So it's always a good test to play teams back to back, and that's why we've always tried to, you know, have that formula.
Game 1 to game 2, what did you like as far as the improvement that you saw from your team?
Yeah, I think that you know, game 1 we didn't know what to expect. You know, we didn't have as much preparation as many teams in the country, and you know, we just went into it trying to find our identity. And I think that in game 2 we did a better job finding that. We defended a lot better, created more opportunities offensively, and we're starting to settle into our game, where I think we're going to continue to build on that going into game 3.
As a player, do you like preparing for a back-to-back where it's the same team? Does that help the preparation at all?
I guess you can say it can, but I think that, you know, we as a team more like to focus on our own preparation, how we're going to be as a team, rather than how other teams are going to be coming to play against us. So I think that each week our preparation and our process is the same. We're focusing on getting better as a team ourselves.
With such a young group, I mean, I'm sure you want everything to come easily as quickly as possible. How long of a process do you think it'll be?
You know, it's tough to say. You know, different people get comfortable at different times. I think that, you know, we do have a lot of new, but I think that the new has been able to, you know, acclimate quick to the college hockey level, and I think that you're going to see very soon that we're going to take big strides coming forward here.
What has to happen for that to happen?
I think we need to get more comfortable in our systems, in our situations. You know, like I said before, we didn't have a ton of time to prepare before weekend 1. We now have an opportunity to have more time for preparation. We're going to get more comfortable in our systems, you know, see more opponents, and I think that will take big steps forward.
Drew, you're familiar with Northeastern. What's it going to be like for you to go up against them?
You know, I think that I'm trying to take this week and treat it just like any other week. Obviously, it is a little different playing against my former team, my former school. You know, I know a lot of guys in that team still, obviously, and their coaching staff, but I'm trying to put that in the back of my mind this week and just focus on our preparation. And like I said before, our preparation and our process is the same no matter who we're playing. So I'm trying to keep that mentality going throughout the week.
When you say that, saying and doing it, might be a little more difficult than that.
Yeah, I guess you could say it's easier said than done, but I think I've done a pretty good job of it so far. You know, I have strides to take individually, and we have strides to take forward as a team. So I'm definitely more focused on doing that right now.
One thing I forgot to ask you, you're from Minnesota. Did you know Darian out well, and did you communicate with him back in June when you were trying to figure out what you were going to do?
Yes, I actually did know Darian. Not only are we both from Minnesota, but we played a year together in juniors in the North American League in Philly. So, very good friends with Darian coming into it. And I talked to him a lot when I was making the decision to come here to Union, and he made it a lot easier to make that decision with all the great things he had to say about it here.
I know that obviously every year teams change, but there are still a lot of guys left on that team. Do you kind of have the insight to that you can kind of help your team out with?
Yeah, I guess you could say so. I know how they like to play there, and I know how their systems are structured. If there are questions that are asked, I'll do my best to answer them. But like I said, just trying to focus on us right now and focus on how we're preparing for the weekend.
You keep in touch with those guys?
Yeah, of course. I made a lot of great relationships in my 2 years there. I haven't talked to any of them this week, though. Like I said, just trying to focus on us this week. So
There won't be any social media talk back and forth?
No. We're keeping it off of social media for sure.
How much are you kicking yourself for the early penalties? Not only the first game, but the second game.
It just can't happen. 2 games in a row. You got to be more disciplined, and it hurts the team. So, not proud of it.
Did Rick give you an earful in either case, going back to the bench?
No, it's maybe after the game, but game's a game. It happens.
You said you were one of the most improved players last season from freshman to sophomore year. What did you do in the offseason to make yourself better, and do you still need to work on?
You can get better at everything at any point. It's just the off-season, it's just working out, getting stronger, just focusing on what your weaknesses are. Keep working on your strengths, too.
You went to an NHL prospect camp?
Yes.
How was that experience? What did you get out of that?
It was a great experience. My first one is I didn't really know what to expect, actually. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and I got better from it.
After 2 games, young team, what do you think this team has to do the most of to get over your hump?
I think it's just practice, repetition, and practice. Preparation for games. It's just getting better every practice. It's every time we step on the ice for practice, it's just got to be all out, compete all the time. So just as long as we keep improving in practice, it's going to get better.
You guys played Northeastern last year. What do you remember from them? You guys did pretty well against them. They were number 12 at the time. They wound up going to the NCAAs. Do you expect the same kind of team that you saw last year?
I'm not really sure. Last year's last year, so it's a new year. We're just focused on us right now and what we're going to do to prepare for this game.